Hey, okay, so we're going to begin our domain and range notes. It is going to be on a graph now, so instead of looking at a table or on mapping or on ordered pairs, now we're dealing with a graph. So on our domain, we always are going to be focusing on left to right. You only need to worry about that area, okay? You don't need to worry about where the graph is up and down because that is our range. Okay, now we're going to be looking at the example underneath. It's going to seem a little bit hard because you've never seen this before. However, the first time you see anything is always going to be hard. So let's begin. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to look at that graph right here on the left, your right. And we're going to see where the domain hits from the left to the right. Now, on the left side, you can see that it's starting right on -5. So I'm going to put a -5 right down here. On the right side, you see that it hits 4. It is always where it hits the x-axis. Now, what you need to be able to identify is that my domain is on my x-axis. My domain's going from -5 to 4. So since I'm using my x-axis, I'm going to put that in the middle between the numbers. Now, it is between -5 and 4. So I'm going to put this inequality right here and here. Now, why am I putting the line in here? Well, since it's closed in right down here in this little corner, that means that I have to put that line underneath. Same with up here. Okay, we're going to do a situation later where you don't have that inequality, but right now all you need to worry about is that there's a line underneath. So we are halfway done this problem. Now we're going to do with range. My range is always my y values. So we're going to go from the bottom, right down here, all the way to the top, right up here. Okay, so now I have from -4 to 4. How do I know it's -4? Well, it's right here, okay? How do I know it's +4? Again, it's right here. So my range is going to be from -4 to 4. So I'm going to put that over here. Okay, so now we have -4 to +4 is my range. Now, same situation. This is closed in right here. So we have a closed circle here and a closed circle there. So my range is also going to have a line over here. So let me rewrite the domain up here. Now, if you're wondering why I'm being really picky on if you put a line or not, it's because on the EOC, they're going to purposely take away that line, and it's going to mess you up. So you don't want to mess up on something similar like that. All right, so I'll give you a moment to write this down, and then we're going to move on. Okay, so now we're on the next part. So on this part, we have the same situation here. We're having two closed-in lines, and we're going to find the domain and range. So what's domain? That's right, it's x. So we're going to go on our x value right here, and it hits -4, and right here, it's hitting a 2. So I'm going to write -4 to 2. Is it closed in? Well, yeah, it's shaded in right there, that circle. So I'm going to put that line right here, and here with the 2. What variable do I put in with domain? Yep, x. So this is my domain right here. So I'm going to write that on the side. So my domain is going to be from -4, put the line underneath, to 2. All right, so now let's do our range. Our range is our y. So I'm going to start from over here, because that's, how do I always know I start from the bottom? Because range always goes from the bottom to the top. So my smallest number is -3. My biggest number is +3. And since it's closed in, we're going to put a line underneath. And that's it. We did this problem. All right, so here's one where I'm throwing you off here. We're still doing domain and range, but now we have an open circle. That open circle clearly just means that, see, on the right side, it has not filled in. On the left side, it's filled in. It makes a huge difference in finding your domain and range, so we're going to see how that affects the problem. So let's do our domain. Our domain is going to be from -2 to 4. Now on -2, it is filled in, so I'm just going to write -2 down here. And I'm also going to write a 4. So on -2 is filled in, so right next to my x, I'm still going to put that line underneath. But on 4, do you see that it's an open circle right there? Do you see the difference between the right side and the left? Well, that makes a difference in how I'm writing it. I'm just going to put that inequality. I don't put a line underneath. And that's the only difference there. Very simple. 1 has a line underneath because on -2 it's filled in. On 4 it's not, so we don't need to do anything towards that. So my domain is simply -2 less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 4. Now, let's do our range. Our range here, okay, it's going to be from 3 to -3. Okay, but we're always going to go from least to greatest. So here, I know you're like, well, it equals on one side, is filled in on the other. Well, you're going to look at always the filled in one. So our lowest one is going to be -3, and our positive one is going to be a 3. Since does not have it on the top right here, since there is no open circle and it's hitting on that top, you're still going to put that line. The only time you don't put that line is when it looks like this on your right side. So if it has a solid line like on this graph right here, or it's filled in, you're going to put that line. So -3 has that line and 3 has that line. So my domain is from -2 less than or equal to x less than or 4, and my range is from -3 less than to y less than to 4. Okay, so now we have another one just like that. So looking at it, which one has an open circle? The -3 or the +1 on my x-axis? Yeah, my -3. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see a little bit better. And on my x-axis, I see a -3. So I'm going to put a line right here. And I'm going to put a line on 1. So my domain is going to be from -3, well, to 1. Now, on my -3, I have an open circle. So I am not going to put a line underneath this inequality. My domain is x, so I'm going to put x in there. Okay. On my 1 right here, it is filled in, so I'm going to put a line underneath this inequality. So I already did my domain. So my domain is just simply -3 less than x, which is less than or equal to +1. Make sure you include that sign because otherwise it's going to mess you up. Okay, so let's do our range. So our range is going to be from -3 until 2. So I'm going to start from my least to greatest. So I'm going to have -3 until +2. Again, we need to look at the dots. So -3 has a closed-in circle. So that means, yeah, it means we're going to put a line underneath. Okay, and on 2, there ain't no open circle. So I'm done. I am done with this problem. So let's do a recap of what we just learned today. If it is a closed-in circle, you're going to have either or. If it is an open circle, it's going to look like this. My domain is from left to right. And it's on my x-axis. My range is from bottom to top. And it's on my y-axis. All right, so let's start doing the worksheet. Bye-bye.